Holy capes and tights, you guys. Can you believe how long DC and Warner Brothers have been sleeping on Nightwing? I know, it's like they keep putting a kid in red and green tights next to Batman and think, well, we did our jobs, boys. Pencils down. Well, that doesn't powder my leather slacks, no siree. For those of you lacking the comic book know-it-allage, because that's what we do over here in comic fandom, we know it all. Nightwing picked up his tights, which always gave me heavy Elvis Presley vibes versus Circus Acrobat, back in 1984 with issue 44 of Tales of the Teen Titans. This is after the Boy Wonder walked away from Batman and had to give up the mantle of Robin because Daddy didn't like his new friends. How petty can Batman get? It's not like he had kids lined up to take down thugs. Huh, makes you wonder why James Gunn had to go with this little shit, am I right? Batman's Mini-Me, so compelling. Like, I don't know if you normies out there know this, but under the mask is Dick Grayson, who was the first original Robin created back in 1940, which is only 1 year behind Batman being created in 1939. And he held that title till he became Nightwing. That's 44 years of Dick Grayson as Robin, which means he's going to go through public domain hell. Like Popeye, Zorro, and Winnie the Pooh. Because indie creators can't help themselves. So you know, in 15 years, be ready to bring that original fanfiction to life, kids. But before you do that, check out my creation real quick. So go sign up for Brother Kit over on Indiegogo, and when you back at a physical tier, you'll get a free magnet for Brother Kit to go along with your physical copy of the book. Alright, back to the video. Nightwing is my favorite DC character, so you know I was going to jump in with my 2 cents, believe you me. So come along, fellow comic book movie buffs, and see why it's time for Nightwing to stand on his own. I meant for live action. No. You're gaslighting me, aren't you? That's rage bait right there. So anyway, James Gunn has a film lined up to introduce the Bat family called Batman Brave and the Bold, and Gunn confirmed that the Robin for his DC universe will be none other than Damian Wayne.
Who this?
Who dis?
Who this?
Who dis indeed. Y'all remember Talia al Ghul, right? Daughter of Ra's al Ghul, head of the Demon, leader of the League of Assassins. Well, she goes full Bill Cosby on the old detective and gets a baby from the Bat. Like, you wouldn't have to drug me, Talia. I'd be all...
Let there be light.
Am I right, guys? And don't let Catwoman know about it. She's gonna flip a lid. She's gonna cough up a furball. Then James Gunn says he's gonna change the story of Damian's beginning because we all need daddy issues in DC. Okay, sure, fine. But why is my boy always getting the shaft? Nightwing has been a team player from inception. He has his own rogues gallery. Quit trying to pit him against Batman, alright? Unless you plan on Deathstroke kicking Batman's ass, I don't want to see it. The ladies love him, and I mean all of them. And just, I mean, if your desire is a female fan base, you're not the only ones to run into that dilemma. I'm just saying. You're sleeping on a gold mine. By the way, there's a plethora of stories to tell involving the original dynamic duo had Gunn decided on the right way to effectively implement these characters. I don't know, I'm just saying, you're working backwards, my guy, and you don't exactly have the full force of the fandom behind you after this little nugget. Moving on. 44 years after being Robin, that covers the Golden Age and the Silver Age, where Dickie Boy has established that he's a skilled acrobat, detective, and he's shown how his optimism contrasts with the Batman's brooding nature. We finally see the Boy Wonder step out of Batman's shadow, spreading his wings and becoming Nightwing. And the storylines to get here are some of the best, and where we truly get to see Dick Grayson as not only a detective, but as a friend, a love interest, and more importantly, a leader. And it wouldn't be difficult mashing these stories together for the cinematic DCU. Hang on, I'll show you. The 80s really focused on evolving their stories and bringing depth to the characters, and that shows with Dick Grayson's relationships with not only his teammates in the Teen Titans, but also with his mentors Batman and Superman. Yeah, of course he's met the big blue Boy Scout. They're like peanut butter and jelly. I mean, where exactly do you think Grayson got the idea for his codename Nightwing? Yeah, none other than the last son of Krypton. Now this has nothing to do with Superman issue 158 from 1963, totally different subject matter, but Nightwing year 1 issue 3 from 2005, we see a young Dick Grayson seek advice from Superman on his future as a hero after leaving Batman. Superman shares the Kryptonian legend of the Nightwing, a shadow deity created by the Kryptonian sun god Ra to combat evil and darkness, but he's often paired with the light-bringing Flamebird. Inspired by Superman's legend, Dick adopts the name Nightwing as a tribute to the myth and symbolizing his own path of independence and heroism.
Excellent!
See, this is where you ask me, BB, how exactly would you insert Nightwing into the DC cinematic universe? And I reply, the same way you start any good story, from the beginning. Now this is where we follow the Marvel formula, 1 to 2 films of each mentor with their sidekick to start the phase, alright? Gotta get to know them and tug on our heartstrings a little bit to get us invested to the new team when they finally have their own franchise. Then end the phase with the big climatic battle.
Yet I sense a big hairy butt lurking somewhere around the corner.
As well you should, because James Gunn mentioned he doesn't want to do Darkseid, worrying that it'd be too similar to the Avengers taking on Thanos. So what do? We set up Trigon the Terrible. Don't want to do the space opera? Fine, then we'll do
Hell on Earth.
So to end phase 1, we're going to implement the rebirth retcon of Brother Blood controlling Hive for his cult following and use the Fearsome Five, except I'm going to trade out Dr. Light for Ravager to carry out the Hive's orders. Oh, it sounds like 2003 Teen Titans show? Would you look at that? Wonder where Rebirth pulled the idea from.
No one likes a smart ass.
During this time, Brother Blood has accumulated many young metahumans to experiment on and sacrifice for his own nefarious reasons. You know, staying young, global domination, the classics. Well, we've already got Robin, Speedy, Wonder Girl, and Kid Flash with their mentors, so I'm choosing Raven and Beast Boy as Brother Blood's captives we'll be focusing on. Why? They correlate perfectly to Blood's desires of immortality and power. Robin and the rest of the sidekicks?
Don't call us sidekicks.
Well, get some new gear and quit looking like your mentor's mini-me then, pal. Gah. Robin gets a vision from Raven telling him to gather a team for a darkness that will soon cover the world. He tells Batman of his vision, and the dynamic duo soon get to work. Batman and the League agree to stop Brother Blood at all costs, but Superman and Robin are worried about the captives and their situation. And this is where we start planting the seeds to tear a rift between the Caped Crusader and the Boy Wonder. The League and their sidekicks break into Hive and battle ensues. The Fearsome Five versus the League, while Ravager takes on the sidekicks. Batman gives direct orders for Robin during the encounter, but Robin goes against them and leads his friends the way he sees fit to save the captives. And during the chaos, Ravager indirectly dies, and Robin and his friends free Beast Boy and Raven. Though the day was saved, Batman looks at Robin with disapproval, and Raven makes an ominous statement saying, "You haven't stopped anything." This echoes into Robin's mind, remembering he has more people to bring together. Robin's locked in with bringing his team together. Batman noticing he's distracted and a little obsessed with getting ready for the coming threat that Raven had shown him in phase 1, of course Batman has to go and open that can of worms. Oh, it sounds a little like Stark and Wanda during Age of Ultron, does it? That's odd, because I'm pulling from the new Teen Titans for this setup. I wonder where Joss Whedon pulled the idea from. No, I'm not pointing fingers, but I'm totally pointing fingers! Kid Flash decides to quit the superhero gig with Ravager's death affecting him. Kid Flash not only blames himself, but his teammates for the loss of a life. And Robin tries his best to sway Kid Flash to stay, but ultimately fails. Speedy comes and goes as a part-timer, but this gives us room to introduce Tara. Y'all know who she is, but we're not doing anything with it until phase 3. Gotta build that trust, which will inevitably give way to the hard fall in phase 3. Give an end credit scene to her with Deathstroke and go old school with it. Yeah, go full Leo DiCaprio with it. You want people talking about this franchise? Well, I just handed you the fandom on a silver platter. Also, we introduced Starfire. Please do her right. Don't do this street walking thing. We really don't want to see it again. Having seen her in Raven's visions, Robin immediately goes to her aid, assisted by Donna Troy. And after Robin helps her learn a little English, he and Donna talk to Wonder Woman and Queen Hippolyta about Starfire staying with them on Themyscira for a while. Do you know Starfire's backstory? Yeah, she needs to get away from men for a bit, alright? Calm down. Let Wonder Woman mention having Superman's cousin stay with them for a bit beforehand, and the relationship with Starfire and Robin can come a little later. The big bad we're working with this phase is none other than the Brotherhood of Evil. After watching the sidekicks for so long, the Brotherhood of Evil has gathered so much data to bring down the sidekicks. Knowing how to dismantle the Teen Titans can have a secondary effect also, breaking the Justice League. To conclude Phase 2, we have the onslaught with the Brotherhood of Evil versus the Titans. Speedy dies in the crossfire. Just when it looks like all hope is lost, we have Terra crush the Brotherhood of Evil in their own hideout, saving the Titans. We close with Batman and Robin coming to grips with the new order of things, along with Speedy's death heavy on Grayson's shoulders. Batman tells Dick he's proud of the man he's become and knows that there's a new dynamic for his future, one without him. However, the mantle of Robin stays with the Batman. So much has happened. Friends walking away, some lost in the heat of battle, others keeping secrets, but the one constant you thought you could always count on, the one who taught you everything you know, the one you have confided in since you were 8 years old has just pushed you out of the nest to fly on your own, to find your own path. Dick goes to his teammates and tells them he needs a break. Even though leaving the Batman's shadow was something he always wanted, he wanted it to be done on his terms, not Batman's. He looks at his friends. His gaze meets Starfire's and they lock hands. Then he looks over at Raven, and she cries. This wasn't supposed to happen. All he can muster to her is, "I'm sorry." Terra, watching from the sidelines as Dick leaves, rushes off to inform Deathstroke of what just happened. Within a Superman film, you know, a good one, we have Dick Grayson crash on Clark and Lois's couch. Superman asks Grayson to go out on patrol with him, but Grayson, trying to be a couch potato, lets Superman know he doesn't have a suit. So with his Kryptonian speed, Superman opens Dick's luggage and holds up his father's old circus gear. Reluctantly, Dick agrees. A squabble takes place at a construction site. Superman and Grayson intervene, but not before John Henry Irons falls off one of the high beams during the clash. Superman catches John Henry midair, and Dick is already tying up the culprits for when the police arrive. They're then seen hanging out on top of the Daily Planet, where Superman tells Dick of the Kryptonian myth of the Nightwing. In credits scene, Deathstroke cleaning a sword has Brother Blood come up on a video screen. Brother Blood's only words are, "I need the demon alive." So the finale of this phase plays like Infinity War in Endgame. We fulfill the Judas contract, bringing back Brother Blood and the Brotherhood of Evil, leading into the Terror of Trigon. Because team morale is down after everything that had happened previously, Terra is able to set the table for the Titans HQ to be taken over. Each Titan struggles to take down their captor before ultimate defeat and apprehension. Raven puts up a worthy fight, but ultimately gets captured. Deathstroke comes into frame and commends Terra for being able to deliver on her part. Terra smiles and leaves with Deathstroke, the members of the Brotherhood of Evil dragging the Titans behind them, but not before Donna was able to send out a distress signal. So we see Grayson signing a lease for a new apartment in Bloodhaven when he suddenly gets the distress signal sent by Donna Troy. So as he goes to investigate, he sees Titans HQ demolished, so he goes and views CCTV to see what happened and finds someone dressed similarly to Ravager leave with Terra by his side. He immediately calls Wally. Hearing the panic in his friend's voice, Wally arrives in costume before Grayson can hang up the phone. Grayson, ridden with guilt from leaving his friends to be taken away, stares at Wally. Wally asks Dick what they need to do. Grayson tells Wally to go to Star Labs and look for Victor Stone, because they're going to need some firepower. Dick uses a private line to make a call, and an English accent answers. "It's been quite some time, Master Dick." At Grayson's new apartment, Alfred is making some dinner, and Grayson is finishing explaining all that is taking place up to his friends being abducted. Luckily, Alfred has bet on Dick needing some assistance and took the liberty of making a new suit for him. It's just missing some of that personal flair. Wally and Cyborg standing in the entranceway, Wally says, "I can throw some of that flair on before we head out." In his new gear, Grayson is maneuvering through Hive's headquarters and gets caught by none other than Deathstroke. Deathstroke immediately realizes who this is just by the facial features and asks, "So what's the new code name?" And this is when he replies, "Nightwing." Yeah, I could have kept going, but this is as far as I need to go to get my point across. Robin, Nightwing, Dick Grayson plays a pivotal role in the DC universe. He's been around since the beginning and continues to grow and have amazing arcs the more he's utilized. I couldn't name all the different iterations he's had over decades of story creating. Robin, Nightwing, Batman, back to Nightwing, Renegade, back to Nightwing, back to Batman, Rick, we can skip over that one. Agent 37 and back to Nightwing. He's not stopping anytime soon, whereas other heroes stay within their heroic persona the whole time. Grayson has adapted over the years to become more than just a symbol. He's him. He was part of the dynamic duo before the DC Trinity was even constructed. He has the capacity to maneuver through the DC unlike any other character could possibly chance. He isn't some throwaway character. I would wager he's more centric to DC Universe than any other created. Yes, even Batman. So why sleep on Nightwing? I have no idea. If the studio wants to create and weave together a cinematic universe, the best character to do that with, other than a JL member, is Nightwing. And with him comes more of the unknown characters that the mainstream doesn't even recognize, which in turn allows you a more creative outing. Put some respect on the name Nightwing.